Hello everybody, the Nameless Narcissist here once again. Simple man diagnosed with NPD, giving you the facts on narcissistic personality disorder and things that go on in my head. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, but keep in mind, I am no clinician, so I can only speak to my own experiences and the studies that I read, and some of the clinicians that are on my channel at this point. Alright, anyways, so love bombing, right? This is one of the terms that I'm not a huge fan of in terms of narcissistic personality disorder and stuff like that, because it implies a degree of intentionality to it. And there is degrees of intentionality, right? But not for the reasons that most people think. So I'm going to basically give you a rundown of what I am experiencing throughout the process of love bombing, so to speak, or at least from what the outside looks like love bombing. And a lot of this is also very highly related to borderline personality disorder, and there's going to be a lot of similarities, and some parts even look identical. But there's some, in my opinion, some key differences. All right, so let's say I meet somebody, right? I'm at a party, or I don't know, meet somebody on the internet, whatever ways that you meet people. I don't know, at work, and like you kind of flirt with them, and they kind of flirt back, right? You get their number, and everything's dandy. As time wears on, a little bit of a crush might happen on my end, and as that happens, I'm going to start kind of poking and prodding about how into me they are. And like, I'll, make some weird comment where like, oh, if this is taken well, and that means that they're kind of into me, otherwise I'm weird and pathetic and I don't want to ever talk to them again. This is the point, like, before the emotionality really comes in. I guess there's a little bit more of a calculated nature here, where it's like, oh, this person's attractive, like, they're cool, I kind of want to date them, whatever. Then things get intense when I have a feeling that they're into me back, and we start like communicating much more frequently. It starts to like, it's this super deep feeling of infatuation. Just like, it's insane. People call it like limerence, I guess, but it feels different than that. This isn't the same as self-esteem juice, by the way. This isn't even close. Self-esteem juice makes me feel on top of the world. Like I'm better than everybody. Like I'm capable of anything, yada, yada, yada. There's like a euphoric high with that. This is euphoric, but in a very, very different way. It's this intense longing and like almost this hope, I guess. This hope that it's like finally somebody's going to understand me. After all these years of waiting, this is the person that might be able to give me my happy ending. And when I say that, I don't mean in a sexual way. I think I mean it like, white picket fence bullshit. And it starts to almost consume me. And when I explain to you my thought processes, it might, and I think this is what makes the distinction between borderline and narcissist particularly, is that all these thoughts are very me focused. Like, let me explain. Like, I am constantly analyzing everything all the time, right? I am trying to basically match like you send like 3 texts, I'm going to send 3 texts, maybe 2, maybe 4. I'm looking for any subtle implication that you don't like me, any that you do. I am going to start spending a lot of time thinking about this, freaking out, see, that's a big thing too. We're not going to show it. We're not going to show that we're this infatuated with you. This is a very slow process of making sure that any advance that we make isn't going to be turned down or rejected. Because that's humiliating. Then they're going to see me as pathetic because I voiced some kind of affection that's not returned, and we'll look like a creep. And as I go on, it's like I can't even, obsession isn't even, I guess it is obsession, because it doesn't last very long, but it's like I'm constantly like looking at their social media, looking back over the text. If you don't text me back fast enough, I'm gonna be thinking, what I do this, like, oh, they don't like me, oh, what did I do wrong, oh, they don't like, and even if I get the confirmation that you like me, in my head is constantly going, what if they don't like me anymore, what if they don't like me anymore? And then like you get to this point where it's like, oh, they may say like, oh, I've never felt like this about somebody before, right? That's not a lie. I don't think it is with borderlines either. It's like we literally can't remember how we felt about the last person. We can't remember the feeling of infatuation that we were met with the first time. And so each time it feels like we're more in love than we ever have been in our life. And obviously this isn't really love. This isn't true love, at least. But that infatuation and a constant anxiety about how it's going to pan out, hoping desperately this is the person that's going to understand me. They're going to accept me for all I am. And when we do, like, they say, like, mirroring, right? And it's not so much that I'm mirroring your interests. That's a borderline shit. It's that every tiny thing that we have in common, I am fixating on and focusing on, being like, this is proof that this is finally my soulmate. It's those fantasies of ideal love, as the DSM says. It's like, this is finally my soulmate. Look how much we have in common. We both like, I don't know, bees. Because that's the thing. It could be crazy like that. It could be something super minor. It could be a lot of things that are all very similar. Narcissists will not fake or take on your hobbies unless they're genuinely interested in that. Our personality is not fluid enough. But we may fixate on the things that we do have in common. As time wears on, though, and like, I think this is what's jarring to a lot of people, especially, and makes it feel like it's intentional. Because keep in mind, this is like a strong feeling. And I think to some degree, maybe even subconsciously, we kind of know that, like, because like, I'm sitting there like thinking, oh my God, we're finally like I'm planning out like dates in my mind, like grandiose, like going to Niagara Falls and shit, thinking about the possibility of getting married. And like, I know that's insane. And even back then I knew that was insane. Again, I don't show any of this. I'm not going to tell somebody that I'm listening to a voice memo over and over again in this like daze of thinking I'm in love and that somebody's finally going to understand me. I'm just desperate for that. And like, I'm not going to show them I'm desperate for that love that I never got as a kid. And I'm thinking maybe this time is the real deal. Thinking it's finally going to be different this time. And like, as I say all this, yeah, people will be like, oh, that's no excuse to abuse or hurt people. It's not like we're going into this being like, yes, I'm going to hurt this person and get my supply and stuff like that. No, it doesn't fucking work like that. Anyways, and then there's this anxiety that like, it's going to go away. And it always starts so subtly, so slow. And then it feels like almost an avalanche of things that keep happening over the course of like a couple months. That like, there's just like one slight thing that always happens where it's like, wait, we have this difference. Wait, they disagreed with this, so they're not my soulmate. And like, because of the anxiety around that, of this person isn't going to understand me, or like a disagreement, right? Because if you disagree with me, it feels like you're just telling me I'm wrong and I'm stupid, right? And I'm like, they don't understand me. If they understood me, they wouldn't have said that I was wrong. They wouldn't have said that I am stupid. Well, not, obviously you're not saying those things, but it's hard for us to remember that like, there could be multiple right answers. People have their own opinions and shit like that. You're just telling me that I'm wrong is the difference. It's, you can have, I mean, there can be multiple truths as long as they're all still my truth. Oh, that's funny, right? But anyways, that anxiety, and then like, of course, there's confirmation bias there. We're like, well, if they're not my soulmate, what else is wrong? And we're focusing on every flaw, every difference, everything that proves to us that you aren't the person that you're not the person who finally want to see us. You're not going to give us that love that we desperately crave. And we can't love you the way that we desperately crave to. And probably at some level, and maybe this is the root of it, the love that we don't feel like we deserve at some level. And so that kind of builds up, and we get more distant and closed off because we are putting our defenses back up. Like at the beginning, that part, the defenses aren't down, but there's a period during that where the defenses are all more or less mainly down, I would say. You're never going to get to see all of it, but that's probably the most you're going to see of it. And like, and I'm sure like and this is when people start to feel replaceable, like they're unloved and stuff. Like, we still care about you. We wouldn't be with you if you were like worthless, right? We wouldn't be with you if we didn't see something, but like in you. But we're getting to that point of like, I need like, this isn't what's going to make me happy. And eventually, usually I'm too ashamed to like break it off myself. So I somehow get them to break up with me because I'm a little bitch. And it's like, and again, there's that anxiety that's going to go away. I try to drag it out sometimes, right? Like occasionally I'll like try to put distance in between myself and them so like I can keep that feeling, that closest feeling to love that I'm like capable of experiencing. Because I don't want to lose it again. That feeling that I'm a mistake for love, I think it's everything I've ever wanted, right? This must be what love feels like, right? I mean, we were never taught what real love was like. And so time wears on, we break up and stuff like that. And if you break it off with us, that's the thing, is that like, you're proving us that we're worthless now. We're not worthy of your love. And so that can bring back a lot of that idealization, because I'm sitting there being like, I have to prove to myself, like, it's weird. It's like, there's so much emotion and regret that comes up with that just wasn't there beforehand. I remember vividly thinking in my bed, being like, I'm not sure if this girl's good enough for me. I might have to, I don't think I care about her. Then she leaves me, and everything changes. If I break it off, then whatever. If they leave me, oh my God, this is a mess. And that's why, and that's why I get really envious of like people in happy relationships who are just there, just like without a fucking care in the world. Like being at parks and just like not staring at people, but like watching people, just being like, how can they just be like that? Why isn't that person at every point worried that they're going to see how worthless that they are? How are they not constantly trying to win that person over, to make sure that they still like them? How are you not making them laugh? If I'm not making somebody laugh almost constantly, if I'm not constantly talking to you, then obviously you're bored of me. You want to leave me then. You don't think I'm worth your time. You don't like me anymore. I can't imagine just sitting around with somebody and just sitting there secure in it. I apologize almost constantly to anybody I'm with alone if we aren't constantly talking, being like, I'm sorry I'm so boring today. Sorry I'm so boring today. Do you hate me? Do you hate me? Will you hang out with me again? That's a big one. Will you hang out with me again because I was boring this one time? Will you? I don't think you will. I constantly don't think people will. If I'm boring for 1 second, I don't think they're going to. I wish I could emphasize how just intense that feeling is. And like, it makes me wonder sometimes, like, is that feeling kind of unique to cluster Bs because of, our emotional intensity? And like, this is kind of something, I wouldn't say special, but like especially intense for us. Or is it the same for everybody, that beginning high in a relationship, but because we were robbed of that for so long during our childhood and we want it so badly that it's just intoxicating and we don't want to let it go? I don't want that anymore. I've chased after that for so long. Like, I just wanted that feeling to last in a relationship forever. I don't know if I want that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love for that feeling to last in a relationship forever. But like, I look at other people and I see them happy just sitting there. Clearly they love each other. But they're like, they feel secure in that. They don't feel like the other person will leave them first chance they get. And I think I want that nowadays. I desperately do. But something I'm never sure I'm going to be capable of. So next time you're with a narcissist and you see them fucking resentfully looking at a couple, well, it's because because that couple's getting the thing that they're never going to be able to have. Take your fucking meds. Wait, glasses. Meds.